Hello everyone, I Sonal Dubey welcome you back with the new topic of evolution of business and commercial geography, and that is industrial revolution. It is very important topic of this unit, and the learning objectives of today's lecture is we'll discuss the stages of industrial revolution, and I also explain you the components and impact of industrial revolution. So let's start. Industrial revolution happened between 1820 to 1850. So first, first we will understand what is industry all about. So basically, industry is concerned with the production of goods and services. There was a time in the history of mankind when there were no industrial activities. Our primitive ancestors consumed what they produced. Hunting was the first stage in the evolution of man. The need of man were limited only to food, clothing, and shelter. This was an economy of self-reliance. Gradually, men entered in pastoral stage, that is called rural stage, under which he started domesticating animal for milk, meat, and skin. He lived near the banks of lakes and rivers because of availability of grass and water. Soon after this, a man entered the agricultural stage. He began cultivating land to grow food grains. The economy of the household remained self-sufficient during this stage. So basically, the evolution of industry can be traced from handicraft stage, where goods were manufactured for local people. So basic stage, or we can say the stage from where the evolution of industry has been started, is handicraft stage. So what is handicraft stage all about? Under this stage, artisans living in a village produce products for the local people, got in exchange what they needed. At this stage, artisans use simple hand tools and manual skill for producing the goods. The organization of work was quite simple, and there was no division of labor. The family was the unit of industrial organization. Now, second one is guild system. A guild may be defined as an organized group of artisans or traders. In the Middle Age up to 15th century, working people organized themselves into guilds. These guilds were merchant guilds and artisan guilds. The merchants were association of traders. The membership of these guilds was compulsory, and the guilds were able to help the growth of industry development, and the interest of members were protected, and they were expected to produce quality goods. After the guild system fall, there was new system developed, which is called domestic system. When there is increase in population, the demand for goods increased considerably, and the artisans were not able to produce huge quantities of raw materials. So a new class of entrepreneurs came into existence, and these entrepreneurs gave work to the artisans who worked in their homes. After the domestic system, there comes the Industrial Revolution. It is used to describe a series of changes in the British industry during the later part of the 18th century and the earlier part of the 19th century. A number of inventions took place in England which changed the entire technique of production. The word revolution means a fundamental change. And the Industrial Revolution was a change in industrial method, from handwork to work done by machine, driven by power, industrial organization from work at home to work at factories. And the consequences of Industrial Revolution were mass production, mechanization, standardization, the growth of capitalism, specialization, and improvement in the standard of living. Now, the last stage, which is called present stage, in which we are there. This stage, or this stage has been termed as an era of large-scale production. The 20th century has saw evolution in technology. The latest technology for peace improvements, the latest technology improvements are automation, computerization, and use of atomic energy. With automation, industrial work can be done faster and better. The machine needs only to be started and everything goes on automatically. All complicated jobs are done with the help of machine. So basically, the present stage is the stage in which we are there right now. So these are the stages of evolution in industry. Now, the next one is components of industrial revolution. What were the components, or what are the basic areas where the major invention happened? So first is revolution in textile sector. During this time, the spinning wheel, handlooms are developed into power loom and making the fine cloth from the thread, and it revolutionized the production of cloth entirely. So there was a revolution in textile sector. Next, the area where the main invention happened, that is steam power, where the steam engine was invented by the James Watt in 1769, and the steam engine gave a big boost to production of goods and consequently led to a huge increase in demand for raw material. The next revolution happened in iron production, where the cheaper mechanization of all industrial processes happened, and the steam power had led to demand for more machinery, and there was like high grade irons are start using instead of the raw irons. After that, there was a revolution in transport and communication as the steam engine was modified for use in railway by George Stephenson in 1914, and this gave a huge difference in the transport and communication as the railroad infrastructure was developed. After that, there was agriculture revolution. This aspect generally missed in the industrial revolution, but it was also started at that time only as a new form of machinery like steel plow and harrow for breaking the ground. Mechanical seed drills, horse-drawn cultivator were replaced by hoe and machines for reaping and threshing, reduce the labor requirement in the agriculture sector. So, so basically, the agricultural sector was also revived during the Industrial Revolution. So these were the components, or we can say the area where the basic inventions happened. Now, the impact of Industrial Revolution. It is very important to understand what was the impact of Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution marked as a major turning point in the Earth ecology and humans' relationship with their environment. The Industrial Revolution dramatically changed every aspect of human life and lifestyles, from human development, health and lifelong activity, to social improvements and the impact on natural resources, public health, energy usage, and sanitation. The effects were profound. So basically, first impact on agriculture economy. The impact of Industrial Revolution was significant on agriculture. Britain's economy came to be dominated by the industrial sector rather than the agriculture sector, whose share in the GDP declined. So major impact was there on agriculture economy. Industrial revolution led to emergence of Britain as a top ranking industrial economy. Now the next impact was on people and society. The impact of industrial revolution on the people was not very positive. There was increased migration from the villages to the cities in search of employment. More people now lived in cities and worked in factories, and this population was not connected to the land. The urban areas now become the center of production and were no more limited to being the center for trade and administration. And at that time, child labor and participation of women in labor force also increased. Industrial revolution has an impact on world population also. The birth of industrial revolution altered medicine and living standards, resulting in the population explosion that would commence at that point and steamroll over the 20th and 21st centuries in only 100 years. After the onset of the industrial revolution, the world population would grow 100% to 2 billion people in 1927. So, the human population growth is indelibly tied together with increased use of natural and man-made resources, energy, land for growing food and for living, and waste byproducts, and that are disposed of to decompose, pollute, or be recycled. This exponential population growth led to the exponential requirement for resources, energy, food, housing, and land, and as well as the exponential increase in waste byproducts. The industrial revolution has also impacted the environment as the environmental pollution was also increased. This caused many health problems for the workers. The industrial lobby for long ensured that the parliamentarians did nothing for the welfare of the workers, which led to development of hatred and many workers movements. There was increase in trade unionism and increased solidarity among the working class. And last but not the least, increased contact between industrialized and non-industrialized world. This revolution result in increased contact between the both industrialized and non-industrialized world, but this contact was not based on equality. The demand for raw materials and export markets made the colonial powers to look for more territories to colonize. So basically, the industrial revolution played an important role in emergence of imperialism, whereby the colonial power tried to establish much stronger control over the colonies by use of military power, direct rule, and rule by intermediaries. So many colonies were treated as an extension of their own territory by colonial powers, and it leads to World War I in future. So basically, this was Industrial Revolution all about. I hope now the topic is clear to you. So these were the stages, the components, and the impact of Industrial Revolution. We'll meet you soon, and thank you so much.